and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. So guys, for today's lesson, as you can see, doing simplification where you need to simplify without using a calculator. Okay, so guys, I'm not really sure if you're able to see on the screen of my tablet, but otherwise I think you should be able to see. Excuse me, but otherwise what I'm going to do is to make sure that I write all the information that you need to see on my board. So ladies and gentlemen, today's lesson is actually just to give an idea of how you should solve this type of questions in an exam. Okay, very much important, guys. These questions of simplification where you need to simplify without using a calculator, you're most likely to get these questions in an exam, especially for grade 10, 11 and 12s. And again, guys, if you're grading your mathematics, please make sure that you watch this lesson because it's going to be suitable for you, and I hope you enjoy today's lesson. So guys, without any waste of time, let me just try to zoom on my screen. I've just zoomed in. So I assume you're able to see, but even if you're not able to see, don't worry. What I'm going to do is to write these expressions so that you're able to see. So the other thing that I can try to do is just to zoom in the screen so that you're able to see 100%. Let me just do some adjustments. I hope you're now able to see, guys. Let me just see if I remove these, then everything, it should be 100%. So guys, for now you just need something to write. You also need a notepad and a pen. I think you might also need a calculator, and then from there the last thing that you need is just a glass of water, because I'm sure after each and every question you will need a glass of water. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll start with our first question, which is 2.1 of question 2. So they say simplify an expression. So now we'll be dealing with question 2. We'll be doing 2.1, and we're given 3 to the exponent m plus 4 minus 6 multiplied by 3 to the exponent m plus 1. All of this is divided by 7 times 3 to the exponent m plus 2. Okay, so guys, this is what we are given, and the question says simplify without using a calculator, as you can see there. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving you this opportunity to just quickly think about this question. So what I'm going to do is just to make some minor adjustments. I think I need my chair. Then from there we'll start with this question. Let me just try to see if I can just do this. Okay, then I'll quickly get my chair. From there we'll start with this question. So now I've got my chair ready. I think we can now start with this question. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're given, and the question says we should simplify. This is an expression, it's not. What we need to do is to write this expression in its simplest form. Okay, so where is the starting point? So obviously, guys, you can see you've got a base which is 3 to the exponent, the whole of this, which is m plus 4, minus 6 times 3 to the exponent, all of that. And again, we've got all of that divided by 7 times 3 to the exponent, all of this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, guys, is to expand this 3 to the power 3 plus, to the power m plus 4. I'm also going to expand this and this. Okay, so 6 and 7, it's unfortunate I won't be able to. Let's see. For this term to be 3 to the exponent m plus 4, this is where it's coming from, guys. Exponent m multiplied by 3 to the exponent 4. Okay, so if you remember, guys, the same basis, you a to the exponent m plus n. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you remember on one of the lessons that I did, I was teaching you these basic rules. So this is where you apply those basic rules, okay, where you simplify. So you need to understand, it's either you're given this part of an equation or you're given this, and all you need to do is just to interchange. It's either you're given this and you have to then expand it in that way, or you're given this and you have to write it that way. Okay, so it all depends on the information that you're given. So ladies and gentlemen, especially when you are in matric, when you see an expression similar to that one, already you should be able to know where is your starting point, and again, what's your final stage. Okay, so you should be able to know exactly where you're going. And again, even when you start with this type of questions, you should have an idea of exactly where you are heading. Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, I assume you understand my approach there. Okay, so now you can subtract 6 multiplied by 3 to the exponent m, multiplied by 3 to the exponent 1. Okay, so I just did the same. You just need to be careful that your bases are the same and you just write those exponents. So you know what separates m and n is that positive sign. Okay, so that's why you're having 3 multiplied by 3. You make sure that the bases are the same because it's a reverse of what I've just shown to you guys. All of this is divided by 7 multiplied by 3 to the exponent m multiplied by 3 to the exponent 2. Okay, you just have to make sure that the bases are the same. And again, if the bases are the same, then it means you can apply that rule where you know when the bases are the same, you add the exponents. Then it means it can take you back to the original equation. So a very good question may be asked. One may say, what if you had a negative sign there? Okay, very, very much important, guys. I'll just give this as an example. Let's say it was a 3 to the exponent y minus x. Okay, so I'm giving you this as an example so that you have an idea, because remember, guys, it's not at all the times where you will have 3 to the exponent a number or a letter plus number or a letter. Okay, so I think for the purpose of preparing you for exams, let's just consider all possible ways. Okay, and remember, guys, before I even go further, it's very much important that I say It's very, very much important, because what I'm about to say, guys, it's very, very, very much important. There is a value in every mistake. Okay, if need be, please make sure to write this information, guys. There is a value in every mistake. When you practice, when you're studying, please make sure that you allow yourself to make some mistakes. Okay, I wish I could say this in all of my lessons, but I'll make sure that I remember to mention this point, guys. At all times, especially when you're practicing your mathematics or physics, it could be geography or whatever subject, please do allow yourself to make some mistakes. Do not copy from the textbook. If you're treating, for example, the questions in the textbook, do not refer to the answers provided in the textbook. Just copy the question, write it down, try to solve it yourself, allow yourself to make some mistakes, because there's a value in every mistake. Why am I saying there's a value in every mistake? It's because, for example, with this type of question, if you can allow yourself to make some mistakes, you'll be able to notice all the possible mistakes related or associated to that particular expression or equation, whatever mathematical equation it is. Okay, so in that way, you are able to then know all the possible mistakes which a learner may make, okay, or all the possible mistakes associated to that particular chapter. In that way, you already know, you've already done that particular mistake, then you will easily be able to recover. But otherwise, if you don't allow yourself to make mistakes, when you make a mistake in an exam, that's when you'll be panicking, okay? So that's why most of the learners, they only panic when they are in exam. Reason because they're not used to making those mistakes. They don't know how to recover from the mistakes that they make. And remember, the panic kicks in because the time will be moving, okay? So by so saying, guys, I so wish we can make as many mistakes for this lesson for today, so that I show you on how to recover from those mistakes. Okay, so for every mistake that we make, please be happy, please note down that particular mistake, and again I'll make sure to show you how to recover from those mistakes. But still, even if we don't make any mistakes, it's still fine. That will be a good indication that we haven't got a lot of possible mistakes related to this chapter. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let me now continue. So from time to time, I'll be giving you these examples, because the purpose of this lesson, especially almost all of my lesson, the main purpose is not only to give you the answers to the questions, but at the same time to teach you on how to approach questions, on how to analyze questions, on how to make mistakes, and most importantly, how to recover from those mistakes. And how we learn, okay? Do not only be happy to see how you solve a question and where you score some marks. Be happy when you see again recovering from those mistakes. Then even if you make almost a similar mistake in an exam room, then you'll remember exactly how I recovered from that particular mistake. Okay, so guys, let's now continue. For example, if it was a negative number there on the original equation, then you apply that rule where you've got a to the exponent m divided by a to the exponent n. This is equals to a to the exponent m minus n. Okay, this is a rule. So now you can also apply a rule there. Okay, so that means this should be 3 to the exponent y over 3 to the exponent x. Okay, just like I've explained, if it was a positive sign in between the y and x. Okay, very, very much important where I was teaching the basic rules of maths. Okay, it's there. I think if you go to my YouTube channel under playlist, and then if you scroll down, you'll be able to see that lesson. I can't remember exactly when we've done it, but it was one of my life lessons. So ladies and gentlemen, let's now continue. So moving to the next step, obviously guys, because you have expanded this, this and that, you have expanded so that you can be able to take out the common factor. Okay, very, very much important, guys. That's why I'm saying when you start with this type of question, I already know how the answer looks like, and again, I already know how to get to the final answer. Very, very much important, guys. So that's why I'm saying at all times, please make sure that when you start a simplification or a with the aim of something. Okay, so in this case, the aim is to take out 3 to the exponent m as a common factor. Okay, because I've noticed I've got 3 to the m there, 3 to the m there, 3 to the power m there. So this and that and this. So now let's have a look at how it looks like when you take out m to the exponent m as a common factor. So that means you've got 3 to the exponent m into, obviously this is 3 to the exponent m minus 6 multiplied by, remember guys, I've explained to you that you've got a dot which refers to a multiplication between two terms. You've got a multiplication sign, and again you can have brackets. So all of this refers to multiplication or the product of two terms. Okay, so now this is a dot, it means it's 6 multiplied by the whole of this. Okay, so don't be surprised when it's a dot there and now it's a multiplication sign. Okay, could have also used the brackets, it will still be acceptable. So ladies and gentlemen, this is multiplied by 3 to the exponent 1. Obviously, you know 3 to the exponent 1 is just 3. That's why I'm no longer writing 1 there, it's just 3. If you want to prove it, you just take your calculator, you punch 3 to the exponent 1 and see what answer you get. Okay, so all of this is divided by 7 times y. I took out to the exponent numbers only. Can you see, guys? So now I'm going to quickly, so 3 to the exponent 4, excuse me, 3 to the exponent 4, what is that, guys? Remember, the question said simplify fully without using a calculator. Okay, very, very much important, guys. So as a shortcut. Okay, but you need to, because when they say simply show all the steps that you followed to arrive at your final answer. Okay, so somewhere in between you can still use your calculator. For instance, you can use your calculator for 3 to the exponent 4 if you don't know what it is using your head. Okay, but make sure not to punch all of this, because the moment you punch all of this, it serves as an indication that you've actually used your calculator to find a 3 to the 4 minus 6 times 3. Okay, so if you use the calculator, remember there's no one who's watching you when you swing. Somehow you can get away with that. In 34, I'm not really sure if you'll be able to see on the screen of my calculator, but otherwise I assume all of you, you've got a calculator. So 3 to the exponent 4, I'm getting 81. Okay, so that means we've got 81 minus, what is 6 times 3? I just know that 5 times 3 is 15, then you've got 1 times 3, which is 18. Okay, so that means 6 times 3, it's 18, divided by, then 3 to the exponent 2, it's equals to, I think it's 9. Let me just quickly confirm, it's 3 squared is equals to 9. Okay, so it's more like it's now 9 multiplied by 7. Okay, so now you can multiply by 7, then you get, let me quickly check something, guys. 7 multiplied by 9, it's equals to 63. Okay, so that means you've got 63. Okay, so now you can then say 81, let's say 81 minus 18, 81 minus 18, it's equals to 63. Very interesting, guys. So now it's more like we've got 63 divided by 63. Can you see, guys? Obviously this is equals to 1. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if I was moving too fast or I've lost you somewhere along the way, but I think it was an easy question, and again I think it was a straightforward question. So ladies and gentlemen, let's quickly check how many marks was this question allocated. So that's why you're most likely to score your first mark. Okay, as soon as you've scored your first mark, then we look at the second step. So let me just check this question. Yeah, no, this question is allocated 4 marks, and I do think and I do believe that it's worth 4 marks. So let's see. Also on this step, guys, you deserve a mark. We can give you a mark for that step. Obviously, that's where again also step, guys, invest your knowledge and effort in trying to simplify that, these, and these two. Okay, so this is where they will give you a mark. Okay, so remember, guys, it's very, very much important that you don't do some of your steps in your head. Okay, if need be, you can have 7 steps, but make sure that you get to that final answer, which is 1. Okay, so they will see exactly where to give you some marks. One thing for sure, if you apply all the mathematical rules and get to that same answer, you will surely get some marks. And again, guys, doesn't necessarily mean this is the only way to solve. Teacher may teach you. Please do consider those methods as valid and acceptable. And again, make sure that in case if I teach something differently, you can just consult with your teacher if they taught you a different approach. Okay, very, very much important, guys. Your last answer or your last step, it's given a mark. Okay, so that means, guys, when we talk about simplification, it means the whole of this, guys, the whole of this, it's actually the same as 1. Okay, so that means we quickly try something. I'm not sure if it will benefit you guys, and I'm gonna be honest with you with regards to what I'll be doing. 1 in place of m on that original equation. I just want to see if I'm going to get 1 as the final answer. Okay, so now I'm about to start. I start with the fraction button. That's if you want to also give it a try. I start with the fraction button, then I say 3 to the exponent m, which is 1 plus 4, and then I come down, minus 6 multiplied by 3 to the exponent 1 plus 1, and then at the bottom it's 7 times 3 to the exponent 1 plus 2. Guys, before I even punch an equal sign, you can just quickly finish up punching all of that. So in place of m, I was just substituting 1. So it's 1 there plus 4, it's 1 there plus 2, it's 1 there, plus 3. What am I trying to do, guys? I'm just trying to see if when I punch it's equals to, I just want to see if I get 1. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can you see I got 1? Why am I doing this, guys? I just remembered that there was a way in which I was able to test if my answers are come up with some tricks to help me in case if I'm making something wrong. Let's try something else, guys. Can you see I've actually substituted 1 in place of m. Okay, let's now try with a different number. So you just go there, let's delete and try with 5. Okay, very much important, guys. Wherever you see m, you must make sure that you substitute with the same number. We substituted with 1, so now we are changing and trying with a different number, and that number is 5. Okay, so everywhere in place of m, let's substitute 5 and punch it's equals to. As I substitute 5, whoever was watching, guys, please try to substitute with a different number. Just make sure that in place of m, you've got the same number. When you're done, press it's equals to and see what answer you're getting. Okay, so can you see, guys, I'm still getting 1. Okay, what does it mean? It means whatever number that you substitute where you see m, okay, that number that you substituted, it obviously has to be the same wherever you see m. Okay, the answer that you get when you punch it's equals to, it should be that final answer that you got. Okay, very much important, guys. I just want to make you aware of something, that please please try to stretch your mind, especially when you're practicing. Okay, do not just correctly answer the question and be happy with the final answer without learning something. Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you this. It's very much important that I say it's very much important, because what I'm about to say, ladies and gentlemen, it's very much important. Listen to this. A day without learning something new, it's a day wasted. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't say anything more. I'll just leave it there. A day without learning something new, it's a day wasted. Okay, so make sure that out of this lesson, out of today's lesson, you learn something new. And it's my wish that you learn something new in every question that we'll be treating. So by so saying, I assume, say, at all times, try to stretch your mind. Okay, what if our final answer was not just a number, but instead it was a number and that letter, which is m in that case? Let's say, for instance, our answer was 2m, our final answer was that. The question now is, can I still be able to prove if my final answer is correct? Ladies and gentlemen, an answer to that question is yes, a big yes. Okay, I'm giving you this as a homework. Try to find previous question papers. If you can't find previous question papers, guys, I actually forget to mention this. I've got a Telegram channel where I post high school past exam papers, so that's where you'll be able to access the question papers for free. So you can just go to this question where they want you to simplify without using a calculator. Try to simplify, get to the final answer. As soon as you get to the final answer, let's say, for example, you get something similar to this. Okay, in short, you've got a number and one of the letters which was there. Okay, what you should do, in place of m, substitute, let's say, a number. Let's say you substitute 105, for example. Okay, so the answer that you get after substituting, what is it? Let's say maybe you get 214. So that means on the original equation, substitute the same number, which is 110, in place of m. Okay, you substitute it, so that means the answer that you get when you substitute it there, it should be this answer that you got when you substituted on your final answer when you were simplifying. Okay, someone may be saying, how can it's 2 with a letter minus it's a number which is subtracted from a number and a letter, so you cannot subtract the two. Okay, that's why this is the end of that simplification. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've learned something new out of this question. So I'm going to erase all of this. What is it? Let me just quickly check what it is. 2.1 and 2.2.2. It's going to hope you're ready. Let me just quickly have a glass of water. Then from there, I'm going to erase all of this information and question 2.2. Okay. Okay, I think I can now erase all of this. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are enjoying this lesson, the only way in which you can indicate that you fully understand, you're getting value, you're enjoying, that's if you just like this video or comment to say whatever that you think it's worth it for me to know. Okay, so guys, this is that chance where you can just quickly have you see on the screen of my tablet. I think somewhere on the right top corner of your screen there are 3 dots. You can just click there and then click on quality. Then from there you click on advanced down there, and then you can just select the highest number with a P. I'm not sure if it's 480 or 380. If you click there, then after a few seconds it's going to adjust the quality and you'll be able to see on the screen of my tablet. What I normally do is just to zoom in such that even if it's blurry, but you'll be able to see, or you can just listen to what I'll be saying. So ladies and gentlemen, question 2.2, this is what we'll be doing. Question 2.2, they say solve for x without using a calculator. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Again, we've got our 2.2.1, which is x to the exponent negative 3 over 4, which is equated to 8. Okay, so guys, this question is allocated, let me just zoom out, it's allocated 3 marks. You know, with this kind of questions which are allocated 3 marks, guys, they are just one of those straightforward questions. No need to think deep. It's just, it should be an easy one. So it's x to the exponent negative 3 over 4, which is equated to 8. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this question is allocated 3 marks. Okay, I just have to make sure that I don't forget that it's allocated 3 marks. So you're most likely to need to indicate only 3 most important steps. Okay, very, very much important, guys. Remember, you are solving without using a calculator. Okay, how is this question different from the first question, which was 2.1? Because you know, at all times we know that when we solve, we should apply or use a calculator, but in this case an instruction says I mustn't use a calculator. So what is the difference between simplify or simplification and solve? Okay, what is the difference, guys? I'm still going to refer to that lesson that I've indicated that I've done sometime during this month. It's posted, it's under playlist, where I was teaching on how to use BODMAS. Okay, I think it's in that lesson. Please make sure to watch it from the start until the end. I can promise you, after watching that lesson, you won't even need to replay this video to try and see how I answer those questions. You'll be able to solve any a question related to Maths Paper 1. Ladies and gentlemen, you only simplify if you are given an expression. You can just write it down. If you are given an expression, that's where you simplify. Okay, very much important. If you are given an equation, okay, if you are given an equation, that's where you solve. Okay, so guys, please note it down. The reason why you need to know and understand this information is because the question, it will just serve as a guide. But when you see a mathematical expression or equation, you should be able to know what is expected of you without the question telling you what to do. Okay, because in some instances you might only find an instruction in the question, but by seeing an expression or equation, you should be able to know exactly what you're supposed to do. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you are given something like 2x minus 1, okay, let me just add on to say to 2x to the power 2, let me say 4 over 2 minus what is it, minus, let me say y to the exponent 4 times y. Okay, if you are given something like this, ladies and gentlemen, you should know that this is an expression. Okay, why am I saying this is an expression? It's because it's not equated to something. Okay, it's just an expression with the signs only. Okay, there's no an equation, or there's no an equal sign. So if you're given a mathematical expression and you don't see this thing, just know that it's an expression. So when you're given an expression, what do? Do you solve or do you simplify? You simplify, ladies and gentlemen. When you're given an expression, you simplify. Okay, so that means this is a number which could be something like 4 over 2 plus 8 over 2 minus minus 7. Okay, let me just minus 5. Okay, so just so that you understand what it means by an expression and what you do when you simplify. You know, guys, this is primary stuff. You just say 4 divided by 2, it's equals to 2. Okay, plus 8 over 2, it's equals to 4, minus 5. Okay, minus 5. Then now you know you have to apply BODMAS to know which one to do. So you know BODMAS, it ends with S, so that means this is the last one to use. Then you say 2 plus 4 minus 5, it's equals to 1. So it means we are given an expression, okay, that you need to write in its simplest form, which is that as its simplest form. Okay, so that means this thing can be simplified into that. Okay, very much important, guys. You can consider this as a mixed up equation that you need to simplify into its simplest form using mathematical knowledge or applying the rules. So that's what you do when you simplify, ladies and gentlemen. Very much important. So now let's get to this part of equation. So obviously you'll understand that since I've spoken much about 10, now I'll be talking about the part where you solve. Obviously that's when you are given an equation. So it's more like the opposite of what I explained. It's what I'm going to talk about. So an equation could be 2x, let's say minus 1, and equate it to let me see, let me equate it to 3. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, very much important, because you've got this equal sign, then it means this is an equation. Why am I saying it's an equation? Because you've got an expression on the left which is equated to an expression on the right. Okay, and again, the simplest way is just to say because I've got an equal sign. Okay, so that means when you have an equal sign, then this becomes an equation. Okay, very much important, guys. So now, what do you do when you're given an equation? So when you're given an equation, you solve. Okay, what is it that you're solving? Guys, at all times, we solve for the unknown. Okay, very much important, guys. If you've got an equation, that means you solve. When you solve, what is it that you're solving? You should ask yourself, guys, what am I solving? You solve for the unknown. Okay, what is the unknown? In most cases, almost at all the times, guys, an unknown is represented by a letter. Any letter from A up to Z represent an unknown. Okay, that's why in simultaneous type of equations, ladies and gentlemen, they use two letters. In most cases, they use X and Y. Okay, don't be surprised when you get to tertiary. It could be university or college or wherever you will be next year. Don't be surprised when you're given, let's say, A and B, and they want you to solve A and B simultaneously. Okay, just know that A represents the unknown, B represents the unknown. It doesn't necessarily mean that at all times when you solve for simultaneous equation, it should be X and Y. Okay, very much important, guys. They can even use C and D. Okay, for as long as you're solving for two letters, just know that you're solving for the unknown. Okay, so the reason why at secondary level you only solve for two unknowns is to prepare you when you get to varsity, where you now solve for three unknowns. Okay, very much interesting, guys. You will never struggle if you fully understand how to solve simultaneous equations, cause you just follow the same process, guys. You've got the first equation, the second equation, the third equation, and you make the fourth equation, substitute it somewhere, and then from there you continue. Okay, that's why it's very much important that you understand the mathematical steps, you know how to apply mathematical rules. Okay, very much important, guys. So just like I've explained to you what you do when you simplify, I wish I explain very easily what it means by solving for the unknown. Okay, but I hope you guys, you've been watching my videos a lot, and I think you believe in my explanation, and I'm sure even if it might not be clear from the start, you might understand along the way. Okay, so sorry guys, ladies and gentlemen, very much important. Remember, this is an equation, right? It's an equation because there is that equal sign. Okay, so because it's an equation, what are we doing? We are solving. What are we solving? We are solving for the unknown. Okay, what is the unknown? The unknown is any letter from A up to Z. Okay, in this case, the unknown is X. Very much important, guys. So when you solve for X, what exactly are you try to interpret? Solve for X. When you solve for X, guys, it's more like tell the examiner, or you want to tell whoever who asked you to solve, or you want to tell your boss at work the answer to the problem that you're having. Okay, so you want to tell us what is it that when you say 2 into that whatever it is and you subtract by 1, it's going to give you 3. Ladies and gentlemen, very much important. It's very much important that you understand this part, because without you understanding this part, you won't enjoy solving for X, guys. I can promise you, I've been enjoying solving for X ever since I've learned the tricks that I've learned by myself. And the moment you learn these tricks, guys, you will enjoy your maths teacher. You will enjoy your maths class at high school, at tertiary level, and again, you will be able to equate or derive equations where you're able to solve real life problems. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, without us having to solve this equation, what number, when you multiply by 2 and minus 1, it's going to give you 3? Very, very much important, guys. And I'm sure you already have that number. It's easy for you to come up with that number, but you'll find that for you to show that number mathematically, it might be a problem. That's why at all times when it comes to solve for x, I advise you to watch that lesson where I was teaching bit mass, guys. You know it as bot mass, but I teach it as bit mass. Very, very much important and very, very much interesting. You will understand why I'm saying bit mass. And again, please make sure to watch a lesson where I do basic maths rules. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if we multiply 2 by 2, it's equals to 4. Okay, so when you subtract 1, that's when it gives you 3. I'm not sure if you fully understand, guys. So that means there it's possibly 2. Okay, what if it's 3? Okay, so that means when you multiply 2 by 3, it gives you 6, and when you subtract 5, when you subtract 1, it gives you 5, and 5, it's not what this is equated to. Okay, so that's why, ladies and gentlemen, you make mistakes and not final answer. You're not able to test if your answer is wrong or correct. Okay, so that means an answer there, or the unknown, it's 2. Okay, so that means 2 times all of this on a calculator, and it's equals to 3. 3. Okay, if it gives you 3, then it means our unknown is 2. Okay, so that's how you solve for the unknown. We want to know that letter, which could be any letter from A up to Z. We want to know the number for that particular letter. Okay, so that means in every equation, a letter represents a number which is unknown. Okay, that's why they want you to solve and tell them what is that number which is represented by X. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm praying and I'm hoping that you've learned something there. If you haven't learned something, please make sure to replay this video over and over again. I'm sure you're going to learn something there. I think some of you guys might have learned something new. So now let's continue with the business of the day. We are now on 2.2.1. Okay, this is what we are given. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are given this type of questions, what you must do is to try and either simplify or expand what is expandable. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, x to the exponent -3 over 4 is just as it is. Nothing much can be done there. So now if you equate 8 in a different form. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 8 I think is 2 to the exponent. Confirm if you get 8, it's 8, 100%. Okay, 3, it's 8. Okay, remember they want you to solve for x without you using a calculator. Okay, very, very much important. So ladies and gentlemen, can you see that we remain with x? Okay, so So remember guys, 2 is the same as 2 over 1. Okay, any number, let's say 2 or let's say 8. 8 is the same as 8 over 1. If you punch on a calculator, is the same as 9 over 1. If you punch on a calculator, it will give you 9. 100 and let's say 1012 is the same as 1012 over 1. If you punch this on a calculator, it gives you 1012. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying this guys is because when you have something such as x to the exponent 2, you know it's the same as 2 over 1. Okay, so for you to remove that exponent, you multiply by the reciprocal. It's more like you write 1 at the top and then 2 at the bottom. Why do you multiply by this? It's because you want 2 to cancel and 1 to cancel, then you just remain with x. Okay, so that's how you remove the exponent. Okay, you just multiply by that same number, but you just swap the positions. Okay, so I hope with this explanation it will just help you to understand what I'll be doing next. So ladies and gentlemen, we want to remove that exponent. Okay, the aim is to have a positive exponent. Okay, so we've got x to the exponent negative 3 over 4. Okay, so we multiply by negative 4 over 3. Okay, why? It's because we want this to cancel, this to cancel, that to cancel, so that you remain with just x. Okay, very, very much important guys. What you do on the left, you do on the right. I'm sure even someone who gets 0 in their maths class test or exam, they know that what you do on the left, they get 0. Okay, so that means it's no secret. I don't need to go deep into explaining that. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, on said what you do on the left, you do on the right. So that means we multiply by exactly what we multiplied by on the left. Okay, which is negative 4 over 3. Okay, very, very much important guys. So now this 3, it cancels with that. Remember, this is over 1. Okay, I've explained that. So that means now it's 4 divided by 1, but always remember that a negative sign. Okay, so that means you now have 2, which is equals to negative 4. Okay, very, very much important guys. If you are that bright, obviously by heart you know that 2 to the exponent 4, it's 16 to the exponent negative 1. Okay, very, very much important guys. This is the same as 1 over 16. Okay, so that means anything to the power negative 1 is the same as 1 over that anything. This is that x. If we have z to the power negative 1, this thing is the same as 1 over z. If you have 4 to the power negative 1, this is the same as you just wrote this or that into different forms. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's now get to that stage where you score some marks. Okay, this question was allocated 3 marks. Okay, very, very much important guys. So I think this is where you deserve to score a mark. Okay, this is your first step, and with your first step, by expanding or working out this part, it really shows that you know where you're going. Okay, so that means if you're driving this lesson, it's a good indication that you're leading us to greener pastures. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, your second mark comes on this step. Okay, All of this is great. This is what they do at primary level. It's only that you're doing this at the exponents. It doesn't necessarily need to be allocated a mark. Okay, very, very much important, guys. So it's either you write this in that simplified form, or in that simplified form we just give you a mark. Okay, very, very much important, guys. Doesn't really matter that much whether you write it this way or that way, you will still score a mark. Okay, guys, I assume you've learned something new. At the end of our lesson, we're going to solve all of these questions until we get to 2.4. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you have watched this video until this far, please make sure to like this video. And again, if you feel like it's worth it for me to know the level of your understanding out of 10 up to this far, you can just comment on the comment section. You might be having a suggestion or a question. Please make sure to post on the comment section, because I'm actually explaining this with assumption that you fully understand. I'm not confusing you in any way. And again, your silence is a good indication that you haven't got any complaints or any issues in relation to my explanation. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I gave you enough time to copy all of this. What I'm now going to do is to quickly have a glass of water. So this is that time we just quickly drink. So for just a few seconds, I think you can make use of this opportunity to just have a glass of water. Okay, don't go anywhere, guys. Okay, guys, so I think I'm going to just erase all of this information. Okay, so now we'll be moving to question 2.2.2. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this question it's an interesting one. Let's see, we've got 4 to the exponent x minus 2 to the exponent x, and this is equals to 2. Okay, and this question, let's see, it's allocated 4 marks. Okay, very, very much important, guys. So we've got 4 to the exponent x minus 2 to the exponent x. This is equated to 2 marks. Okay, very, very much important, guys. So let me see. So guys, when it comes to this type of questions, please do make sure that you just try to simplify what you think it's possible to simplify. Okay, remember we are still at 2.2, where the question says solve for x without using a calculator. Okay, so let's have a look, guys. We've got 4. We know 4 is the same as 2 to the exponent 2. Okay, so that is multiplied by that x. Okay, minus 2 to the exponent x. You cannot simplify these. Then we can now move that negative 2 to the left and equate this to 0. Okay, very, very much important, guys. Remember, when you move a number to the left side of the equal sign, it changes a sign. Okay, very, very much important, guys. Changes a sign. Okay, so now what you do, obviously, because you have sort of a quadratic equation, it's a good indication that at this stage you can try to um, you can try to what is it, you can try to factorize. Okay, so let's check how possible can we factorize this. I can tell you guys it might be a bit tricky because you cannot there's no shortcut to this question. Get 2 to the exponent 2x. If we have 2 to the exponent x and 2 to the exponent x, can these two things when multiplied each other take us there? Ladies and gentlemen, let's see. We'll be having 2 times 2 to the exponent x. Okay, remember, when multiplying the same basis, you add the exponents. So that means we're going to have 2x plus x. Sorry. Okay, so obviously this is 1x, this is 1x. So that means this is 2 to the power 2x. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very good start and it's promising. Okay, so now let's test the second step. Okay, for us to get 2, obviously that's when you multiply 1 and 2. Okay, so 1 multiplied by 2, it's equals to 2. Okay, very much important, guys. So now, should I have minus minus? An answer to that, it's no. Okay, if you have minus and a minus, that means you're going to multiply negative 1 by negative 2, which is going to give you a positive 2. Okay, it won't work because there your third term is minus 2 or negative. Either you have a positive sign there or a positive sign there. Okay, very much important, guys. Let's see if we have a positive 1 there. Okay, so now that means this is a positive 1, this is a negative 2. Can we use those signs to check if we will find that value there, which is negative 2 to the exponent x? So that means obviously for you to get that middle term, that's when you multiply. It should be when you multiply, what is it? Let's say is that by that, obviously this by this and this by that. Okay, so that means you'll have 2 multiplied by 2 to the exponent x, and then this multiplied by that. I forgot something, guys. It should be a negative. Okay, remember this is that negative, so it should be negative 2. Okay, so again you've got what is it, you've got 1 multiplied by 2 to the power x. It's going to be a positive 2 to the exponent x. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, it's more like you have 2 of 2 to the exponent x and you have 1 of 2 to the exponent x. Okay, so that's why you've got minus 2 plus 1, which is equals to a minus 1 of what? Of 2 to the exponent x. Okay, so remember, guys, so maybe let me just write this so that you understand. Okay, it's more like you've got 2 of 2 to the exponent x. Okay, plus 1 of 2 to the, so that's why I'm saying it's more like minus 2, which is that one, plus 1. Okay, so this thing, it gives you minus 1 of 2 to the exponent x, which is the same as 2 to the exponent x. Okay, but remember that sign, negative 2 to the power x, which is that one there. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this means that factorization together with the signs are correct. Okay, everything is correct, nothing wrong there. So, ladies and gentlemen, very much important. Now that you've factorized, you can then equate each monomial to 0. So that means you've got 2 to the exponent x plus 1 is equals to 0, or 2 to the exponent x minus 2 is equals to negative 1. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, can you notice you cannot work out that x value where you've got this equated to negative 1. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is as negative 2, where whatever simplification that you have which represents negative 1 will be negative 1. Okay, so you can try to make the base 2 and try to have either exponent. It means we have to then say 2 to the exponent minus x is not equal to negative 1. Okay, so then we move to this side of the equation. We've got 2 to the exponent x, then we can equate 2. We move that negative 2 to the right side of the equal sign, and it becomes positive 2. Obviously, you know there's 1 which we don't need to write there. Okay, so now because the bases are the same, you can equate the exponents or drop the exponents. So that means x equals to 1. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is how you solve for this question. Remember, it's allocated 4 marks. Okay, very much important, guys. I need to show you exactly where you score your marks. Okay, so this is where I think we can give you your first mark. Okay, yeah, there, because you obviously worked out that part, and again you've moved that to the other side of the equal sign. Okay, very much we give you to get those factors. Okay, and again we also give you a mark for your final answer, and again for that final answer. Remember, guys, this is very much important. If you just had an equal sign, then you'll be lying. It's not an answer to that question. Okay, it should have that stroke. Why? Based on the explanation that I've given to you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you score your 4 marks. I assume you understand at this stage that a glass of water, then I'm going to erase all of this information. So guys, I'm just going to erase all of this information. Okay, so now let's move to the next question, which is, let's see, the next question is 2.3. Okay, so I've got 2.3, we also have 2.4. So now this question says if x is equals to 3 minus y is equals to 4 plus square root of a, all of this divided by square root of 2, determine the value of into x plus y close squared. Okay, and this question is allocated 3 marks. Okay, very interesting, guys. It's very much interesting. I think you will learn something out of this question. So this is 2.3. Okay, so guys, we've got our x, which is equals to 3 minus square root of a all over square root of 2, and this is y, which is equals to 4 plus square root of a, all of that divided by square root of 2. Okay, they want you to determine the value of x plus y squared. Okay, very much important, guys. When you're given this type of questions, you shouldn't stress a lot. Remember, this question it's only allocated 3 marks, meaning it's not that much complicated, nothing tricky about it. So ladies and gentlemen, because this is what they want you to solve, you just substitute. In place of x, you substitute that. In place of y, you substitute that. Okay, so that means if we substitute all of that information, this is what we have. We've got 3 minus square root of a, all of that, square root of 2. Okay, what is it? It's a plus there. Then it's 4 plus square root of a all over square root of 2, then you square. Okay, very much important, guys. Okay, so now what you do next is to try and expand these two. Okay, it's easy and straightforward. So that means you've got this thing as the same as 3 square root of 2. There it's a minus sign, then you subtract, then it's a square root of 2. Okay, so you can only expand it this way because the whole of this is divided by that square root of 2. Okay, then you plus, this is that plus, you do the same. 4 over square root of 2, you've got a plus there, square root of a over square root of 2, all of this, then you square. Okay, very much important, guys. You can see that you've got this is the same as that. Okay, and you can see it's positive that minus the same thing, so that means it cancels out because the same thing minus the same thing is the same as 0. Okay, so that means you remain with 3 over a square root of 2, then you've got a sign which is a plus 4 over square root of 2, then you square it. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we have expanded this to look like that. So now what we want to do is to try and take it back. Okay, so that means this thing is the same as that plus that, which means is 3 plus 4 divided by square root of 2 close squared. Okay, so obviously this thing, guys, is the same. You add those two, excuse me, just add. Obviously this is going to square that 2, and again, I mean that 7, and again this is going to square that 2. There's that rule, guys, which says a over b squared is the same as a squared over b squared. Okay, same maths rule applies here. So it's more like you've got 7 squared over square root of 2 squared. Okay, so obviously this is where you can then now punch on a calculator to find out what is that if you don't know it by heart. Okay, so let's just quickly check what is 7 squared, which is 49. Okay, so it's more like you've got 49 over 2, because that squared removes that. Very much important, guys. This one also, it wasn't that much difficult. Okay, so now that means we need to then give you some marks. Obviously, for you to substitute correctly, we give you a mark. Okay, most importantly, for you to expanding all of this, we give you a mark. Okay, and obviously, guys, your other mark will come from your final answer. Okay, that's one thing for sure. Your final mark will be given an answer. Okay, so remember guys, if they don't give you a mark there, they're going to give you a mark for this step. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is how you solve for this question, and I think we can now move to the last question, okay, which is 2.4. Ladies and gentlemen, this is that time where you can quickly have a glass of water, and then from there we're going to move to the next question. So guys, I hope you're finding value in these lessons. You're not in any way being confused. Okay, so guys, I'm not sure if the connection is bad, but otherwise, if we are losing each other as a result of connection, please do make sure that you indicate to me so that I'm aware. Okay, otherwise I'll try to redo that question. Okay, so I'm just going to erase all of this because I've just noticed somewhere where, guys, if it is indeed bad, please do make sure to indicate to me so that I try to redo this lesson. Okay, don't mind redoing this lesson just for the sake of you being able to fully understand from the start until the end. Okay, very much important, guys. So now let's move to the last question. Very interesting question. They say show without using a calculator that the whole of this is equals to 120. Okay, these questions are not that much difficult, guys. Let's see, it's 2.4. We are given 12 square root of 10 multiplied by 6 square root of 640 multiplied by 4 square root of 810 multiplied by square root of 40. They want us to show that the whole of this is equals to 140. Okay, and this question is allocated 4 marks. Ladies and gentlemen, very much important. Okay, so this question, guys, your starting point, okay, your starting point is very much important because it's going to lead you to the final answer, which is correct. Okay, so guys, remember, when you have something like 3 to the exponent x, this thing is the same as x to the exponent 1 over 3. Okay, when you have y square root 7 there, this is the same as y to the exponent 1 over 7. Okay, if you have, let's say, p squared, okay, all of this at square root of let's say 5. Okay, so this is the same as p, but when dealing with this type of questions, then you raise that 1 as numerator over 3, which is that one. Okay, so you just need to know this for you to be able to solve these questions. Very much easy, nothing complicated. If you listen carefully, you'll be able to understand. Okay, so let's see, guys. Our first step, obviously, that means this is the same as 10 to the exponent 1 over 12. Okay, then you can just what is it, let's try to punch all of this on a calculator and see what we get. Okay, I think by so doing we'll be able to find the direction to the right answer. You need to be very careful, guys, especially when it comes to this type of questions. You need to make sure that whatever you write or the simplification that you do is the same as exactly that. Okay, let's say maybe square root of 640, and see what we get. We get 8 square root of 10. Okay, so if we get 8 square root of 10, this means this is the same as square root of what is it, 10 squared. Okay, so that means if you punch this thing, it should give you 640. Okay, just give it a try, guys, and let me know what you get. If you get a different number, just comment. Then you also do the same there. Okay, let's check. Square root of 810, it gives you the same way, and say, remember, there's a 4 there. Okay. Just write it the same way and say 10 times 9 to the exponent 9. Okay, then you can now multiply by the square root of 40. We also do the same. Square root of 40, it gives you 2 times square root of 10. Then we just say square root of 10 times 2 squared. Okay, I hope it makes sense, guys. I hope you fully understand. Okay, so now remember, here we still have 1 over 12. Then, ladies and gentlemen, remember, very, very much important, remember, you can expand this thing. Okay, so this thing is the same as times, you've got 6 to the square root of 10. Okay, multiplied by this should be, it should be, you can just I think you can just try to let me see, guys, I'm just trying to think of something. What is actually 8 to the exponent 2? Okay, can we not simplify that 8? Because I know 8, I think, is 2 to the exponent 3. This should be 8, guys. Okay, so we're just trying to write everything in its simplest form. Okay, so if we have 2 to the exponent 8, then you know this multiplies each other. Okay, and this times this is 6. Okay, so that means this thing is the same as 2 to the exponent 6. You can also punch on a calculator and try to confirm if you get the same answer. Okay, very, very much important, guys. From there, that means this thing is the same as square root of 2 to the exponent 6. Okay, then you multiply by this, which is square root of 10. Remember, you've got 4 there. Very, very much important, guys. And again, I think this thing is the same as 3 squared. I think it's the same as 9. Okay, so obviously if 3 squared is the same as 9, remember you have that 2. So obviously the same thing here, those two, they multiply each other, then you've got 4. Okay, so that means this is the same as times 3 to the exponent 4. Okay, very, very much important, guys. So now you multiply by square root of 10 times square root of 2 squared. Okay, you cannot further simplify that 2, just remains as 2. Okay, so this question, guys, you need to pay full attention. It's very, very interesting, and it's a bit tricky. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's now try to check if we cannot further simplify this equation, because we are now trying to remove those brackets. Okay, so that means this is still 10 over 12 multiplied by, this is the same as 10 to the exponent 1 over 6. Yes, remember, guys, it's very, very much important that you remember that you've got 1 there, so it makes it 1 over 6. Okay, multiplied by 2 to the exponent this, then now it becomes obviously what is it? I think I've forgotten something, guys. I have forgotten something very, very much important, and I'm glad I did that. Okay, remember, this is 6, the square root of the whole there. Okay, I think even there you should have that 4 there. Okay, because that 4, it was for the whole of that thing. Okay, very, very much important, guys. So now this means we've got 6 over 6. Okay, you multiply it by, this is 10 to the power 1 over 4. Okay, multiplied by, also there you've got 3, 4 over 4. Okay, then there obviously it's 10 to the power minus 2. So that means if we have square root of x is the same as x to the power half. Okay, y square root of y is equals to y to the power half. If you have square root of 4, this means it's the same as 4 to the power half. Okay, very, very much important, guys. That's why I'm able to then now simplify that thing in that form. Okay, so that means this will be the same as 2 to the exponent 2 over 2. Okay, this is that 2, this is that 2. Okay, so let's check, guys. Now we've got all of that. Okay, so I think, ladies and gentlemen, we can you see we've got 10 as a base there. We can maybe try to add the exponents, because we know when we multiply the same bases, we add the exponents. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is we've got a 10 to the exponent 1 over 12, which is that one. Then we just add all of these exponents. This is that one. We also add that one there. We also add that one there. Very much interesting, guys. So I think we've added all of those terms. Then obviously 6 over 6 is equals to 1. Then we just have 2 to the power 1 multiplied by 3. 4 divided by 4 is just 3 multiplied by 2. 2 over 2 is just 1. So it's multiplied by 2. Okay. Remember, guys, the goal is to show that the whole of this is equals to 120. Okay, and we're allocated 4 marks for solving this equation. Okay, very, very much important, guys. So now can we check what is all of that, guys? So ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving you this as a homework. Okay, try to work out this using the first principles of maths. Okay, I won't teach you this because they taught you on how to do that in primary, and I assume in grade 8 and 10 they teach you on how to simplify this thing. Okay, one thing for sure, you should get 12 over 12. Okay, the reason why I'm saying you should get 12 over 12 is because the whole of this it should be the same as 12 over 12, which is 1. So it's more like if you punch all of this on a calculator, it should give you 1. Okay, so that 1 comes when you simplify all of this and you write it in the simplest form. You'll get to where you have 12 over 12. Okay, multiplied by all of that. Okay, very, very much important, guys. So 2 times 3, it's equals to 6. 6 times 2, it's equals to, I think it's 12. Okay, so that means it's 12 there. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the same as it's 1 there, because 12 divided by 12, it's 1 multiplied by 12 divided by 12, yes, it's 1 multiplied by 12. Okay, so 10 multiplied by 12, even on a calculator, it's 120. So can you see, guys, this is how you show that the whole of that is equals to 120. Very, very much interesting question. Okay, so let's see where you score. So there's expansion which deserves a mark, which is that expansion. Okay, so this is where we give you a mark for that expansion. Okay, and the other mark we can give you for which step? We can give you for this step. Okay, very much important, guys. You score a mark for that step. And after simplifying the whole of this, where you get that 12/12, we can give you a mark. Okay, and excuse me, obviously you know your last question, or I mean your last answer is also given a mark. Okay, so that means this is where you score your 4th mark. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and I wish you best of luck for your exams. If you've watched this video until this far, guys, please make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, just to show support. And again, please like this video if you fully understood. And again, if you've got comments, additional questions, or anything related to that, please make sure to just drop whatever that you want to say in the comment section, and then I'll have a look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this lesson as much as I did. My name is Desmond, and I'm out.